jump right into this? What are we doing? What's happening? Oh! I didn't even think to look down.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Welcome to Late Night Gaming. My name is Rachel, and today we will begin What Remains of Edith Finch. Now, I'm not quite sure what this game is about, but I think what it's about is a young woman, teenager, going back to her old house to find out what happened to her family. I don't research. I don't even think I've seen playthroughs of this. Or I have, and I don't remember anything.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
And here I was like, man, where are the subtitles?
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Oh, look at the newspapers. Orca's Island Gazette.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Oh my gosh! That is so cool! How clever was that? Am I able to run?
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Because I was looking for subtitles in the in the settings. And I'm like, what the hell? A game that doesn't have subtitles? Turns out they're part of the game.
In a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Oh.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Wow. That is quite the house. Can I see my feet? Am I?
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
What is that? Whoa. I don't know what that is, but that looks super cool. Missing. Milton Finch. Cannot read any of that. He was 11 when he disappeared, though.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Why, though? This house looks so cool. Oh, I didn't even...
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Are we pregnant?
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
But are you afraid right now? Look at all these books. Can you guys see okay? I need to fix my posture. Wow, that's a lots of tuna. Tales of taste and tummies.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Imperial Palace. In loving memory, Louis Finch, December 27th, 1988 to November 21st, 2010. Beloved brother to Edith, son of Don, great-grandson to Edie. Wait, is that the kid that went missing? I don't remember the name that was on the... Oh, okay, that's mine.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
And there's still a phone in there.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
I think this house is really cool, to be honest. Wow, there's a lot of the weirds. Lot of cookbooks.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Watch out, little porcelain girl. Bigfoot's gonna get you. Who's Barbara? Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of bugs. Holy shit.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Buried?
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Oh, his name's Milton.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Why is there a weird... Don't tell me. Okay, we're back to the kitchen. Wait.
After Louis started working at the cannery, we all got pretty sick of salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Smash the glass. Who's here to tell you that you can't smash the glass right now?
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Wow, like, can you imagine the history?
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Barbara
Barbara was a child star for 2 years.
Is that Bigfoot?
Until America grew out of it.
Oh. Was her friend Bigfoot?
Whenever people ask me about my family,
Was
the
her
first
friend
thing they always want to
Bigfoot?
know about is Barbara. My grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Is Calvin buried in the library? Just wondering. This is so cool. I think when I have kids, I want to do fancy stuff like this with their doors. Can you imagine that? That would be such a cool
kid,
idea.
I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Oh, look at...
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Oh, so why does Edie just have like a... Where's her last name?
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Little circus mouse. Just thinking of the... Ew! I do not like that. Ooh, is this our room?
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Oh.
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
It's Salem.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
There's so much character to this house. It is so cool.
But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
I don't know why. This is just making me emotional. I really don't know why. Oh! It's an ant farm! Because I don't know. Someday I want a family of my own, and I want all my kids to have, like, rooms that really represent their personalities, and this is just so fun.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
The hamster.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Time to eat the fish.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Well, thank God. Oh, the fish was eating the letters. No, we're not going to eat Christopher. Stop that. No, I'm not. Thought about drinking the toilet water, but I decided not to.
I kept eating and eating.
Why did we do that?
I ate a lot of things that night.
Are those real? Did she just eat like painted styrofoam? Is this Molly?
I
Molly?
heard chirping outside my window.
I caught the bird and sank
It
my
was a barn
teeth into
swallow
its
going back to
flesh.
her nest.
Watch out,
Big
bird.
step for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Oh,
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
we are suddenly playing Cat Assassin's Creed.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
Wait, where did the bird go? Oh, there it is.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Okay.
Rabbits.
Where? I don't see any rabbits.
followed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
A child. A truck. A windmill.
A mama rabbit.
Where? Get him. Got her.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Oh, there we go. Are we dead? What is happening? Whee!
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Where'd it go? There we go.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
What in the world is happening in this game? Oh, shit.
I grabbed on tight, but I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
I did not expect this out of this game.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't. After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Mother.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Was it us?
I got closer and closer. All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Oh. She was only 10. Oh my god. Kitty!
This will be obvious later, but My mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Oh.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Ingeborg?
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
So Odin is her great-grandfather? And then Edie is her grandmother. Come closer to me, Mike.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Molly Concepts, Barbara Concepts, Mural Sketches, The Jungle Book, built 1937, Sven Finch.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Oh. Tragedy strikes Finch family. Dude, look how happy he looks. Wow. Oh, that is so cool. Look at that. Oh, what a cool picture.
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Ew. This is atrocious. Oh, it's Harry Potter.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Whoa. Calvin Finch, born April 25th, 1950, died September 23rd, 1961?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Couple turns land into a native haven. No, we don't need to go back down there.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore he'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Dude, this is giving me like a little bit of a rush.
Tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
Oh my god. Do we really have to...
maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
Do we really have to do this?
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Wow. So, he was 11, so it was 61. This is so cool.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Oh.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Was she not?
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Oh, did she like, was she one of those child stars that did it make it afterward or? Oh.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
Oh.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh. This is cool.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later.
Late night gaming.
Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up. But if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Dead. Don't worry, I got a crutch. Wait, hold on. Where's the stairs? Oh no, am I gonna get...
Walter vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he realized he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Where? Oh.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges grow.
Bye, Felicia.
But she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Can we pick it up? Can we pick up the pace, Barbara? Good heavens, we are moving at a snail's pace.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Pizza. Pizza delivery.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Turn around, Barbara.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time.
Walter.
All pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
What?
I call a real eerie tale.
Thanks, Crypt Keeper. Good lord. Oh. That's fucked up.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Wow. Oh.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Edith, you need to, like, hustle just a little bit. Nope. There we go. That is so cool. I brightened it up just a smidge.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Is this where he cut his hand? Wow, this is the table saw, guys.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Christmas presents?
Maybe she was hiding presents.
It's the fridge.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Wow. Hi, Walter.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
I like how he just
on the other side of the door
gulps down the peaches. No fork.
Friendly.
Nothing.
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Oh, shit.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can. I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one more day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Oh my god.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
What? Oh my. Oh, that's what the rattling was. It was a freaking
I'm
train.
sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Oh. Who put that down here? Was it Calvin? What the fuck? He made the trains. Wow, okay. I really liked his peaches, didn't he?
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Ew. Wow.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Is Walter buried in the library?
Now that there's only one of us left. Or maybe 2. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself.
Because we're pregnant.
And found out what happened to everyone else.
Telling you. She's gonna have a baby.
But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
What is that out there?
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Are we?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Wait, we're not Edith, are we? We're not playing as Edith. Are we playing as maybe her daughter? Maybe we inherited like a journal or something. And
when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Zoe, Coco, Tucker, Charlie, Daisy, Lucy, Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy, and Derpy Jr. Christopher, Bob, Shadow, Oliver, and Shotzi. Bailey.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
So she was 10. 11. Hold on, I'm terrible at math. So he was 49 when he passed away. Did he pass away because of the table saw thing? And then Edie Finch was... What was that? 93? Yeah. Walter was 53. And then what? Said she was 16? Yeah. Wow. And is this Odin up here, I'm assuming?
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Is that it for that?
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Oh, Gregory was a year old. Wow. Sam was 33, and Gus was 13. They all died so young. Oh.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
1988 to 90, 2000. So he was what, 22?
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
So we are playing as Edith.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? You don't need to waste any more film on me, kiddo. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map.
Is there like a deer maybe I'm supposed to?
Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of it.
Picture of what?
I'm over here, Dad.
Dad, I.
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so-
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about.
Dad!
Oh my god.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
So what? Wait, did we see a Dawn?
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Kay. Who's Kay? This game gives me like Life is Strange vibes. You know.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Oh. A lawsuit has been filed against you.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Please don't tell me the baby drowns.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin,
Oh my god.
lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Oh, this is so fun.
It sure made him happy. It sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Vicky to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Oh. Oh, that got me. Oh shit. I can't even. I did not expect to cry during this game, so you can tell. I've never actually watched a playthrough of it because I did not expect that. I can't imagine how devastating that was. There's Dawn.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry yet.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met me, we don't need a stepmom were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
The totem pole is kind of creepy.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus. My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal, but it didn't last.
So were we homeschooled? Oh, we were.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings. I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family. Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, these are cool. I had a couple of these when I was a kid. I think there was a Toy Story one that I had. There's like Disney ones that I owned. I can't remember what the other one was. I had two of them.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
No.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room, until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to
Mine began to
wander.
what? Oh.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Is our hand gonna get cut?
And things that have not names.
It is, isn't
I
it?
knew it was
Our
all
hand's
in
gonna
his
get cut.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
I'm so impressed with how many, like, styles they have in this game.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh, shit.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
St. Louis.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her
Electric sitar.
electric sitar.
Oh, shit.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Oh, wow.
He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Princess
For someone who'd never known
Buttercup.
success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Oh, this is so fun. I am so impressed with all the different styles and...
including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Oh my god.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Wow. God damn.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Who's left? Sanjay. Edie. Sven? Have we...
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
So she was an author?
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe you should have come sooner.
Oh, it's our room.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
Okay, I was like, oh, I remember when I used to do that. I still do it sometimes.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself.
We're not giving birth, are we?
If you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
What is happening? Are we having a baby?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh. Who's that? Is that his mom? Wow. That was really good. I love the idea of, you know, houses like that have been a part of a family for many generations, just having so much character and so many stories attached to it, whether that be good or bad. And, you know, someday I hope that, you know, when I get my own place, I'll be able to... The idea of having a home like that passed down is something that is so appealing to me. Oh. We just got an achievement to see Johan's name. Unlockables audio. That story about Gregory. I didn't expect to cry during this game. I really didn't. That was... It was really shocking to me. But I was just... The style of the game reminds me... Like, the vibe it gives reminds me so much of Life is Strange. And despite the story of that game, like, Life is Strange is such a... I don't want to... It is a comfort game for me. Like, I love that first game. The second one I didn't really like. But this game, despite its story, it has, to me, kind of a comfortable atmosphere almost. Just the colors and the styling, and I guess the concept of that family home is so... It's like a dream to me. Dream for me. So a story centered around that, I really, really love. And in a way, it almost makes me... kind of want to cry again. This music is not helping. Holy shit. I want to start a family of my own, and I mean, I don't want stories like this for my kids to look back on, but I would love to give them a home where there are stories attached to it. And traditions and... Because my current family doesn't really have that. Well, this was a lot. I didn't really know what to expect. It wasn't this, though. I think I started to watch someone play this. It was probably Jacksepticeye. Because I do remember Molly's story and the cat climbing up the tree, but I think there was a part of me that knew... Once I saw that, I'm like, you know what? This is one of those games that I'm going to not watch. And I want to play it on my channel, and I want to react to it for the first time. Like, I have games like that where I've tucked away, and I want to experience for the first time with all of you, whoever stumbles across this video. And I stopped watching it. Okay. I think it's time to end the video. Because I feel like if I talk anymore, I'm just gonna start talking about problems that I have in my own life, and I'll start crying again. So I've cried enough. Games that make me cry hold a really special place in my heart, because there's only been one other game now that I've cried to, and that was Red Dead 2. And I mean, I sobbed. Like, I cried at least 4 times during the ending and the epilogue. And to this day, like, if I think about it, you know, in the right moments, like, I'll start tearing up again. So for this game to make me cry, because I don't usually cry during video games, and when it comes to books too, like, when it comes to movies, I cry all the time because I have that visual aspect. But I've never had that emotional connection with a game before until Red Dead, and then this game. And for this story to touch me in such a way, to the point that I'm crying is, you know, like, kudos to the team that developed this, because I'm not emotionally swayed like that when it comes to games. So I think if my channel were to take off, because you never know, this would be one of the games that I would consider a classic, like, years down the line. Because I'm always thinking about the future. Like, what if, you know, what if I do hit 1 million subscribers, like, 3 or 4 years from now? Like, you never know. I never know. Like, what games would I put to the side and go, that's one of the earlier games that I played that you should go watch. Like, years from now, go watch one of, you know, if you were to watch one of my older videos, go watch that one. Go watch this one. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and say my outro. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like talking about subscribing and liking and stuff is kind of out of place for this game, because to me it's not a normal video, it's an emotional one. So doing all the typical YouTuber stuff just doesn't feel right. But thank you for watching, whoever does. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.